I
Oh
told you we
man.
shouldn't have had the second one. It wrecked your body. It did. Sorry.
Anyway,
Digressed completely.
back to Earth. Anyway,
So yeah.
so the feminists at school, they were like fucking insane. They were all like, oh man, they were talking to all like so all the popular kids. They were all talking like, oh, like I pretty much walked into this conversation that was, oh, all you're thinking about is when's International Men's Day? When's International Men's Day? It already fucking exists. And I was just like,
It doesn't actually.
okay, and
Whatever.
well, it's not as celebrated. It exists. It's just not as celebrated, like International Condom Day.
There is an International Condom Day?
Yep,
Holy shit.
February something.
Maybe I should have paid more attention. But then
you
again...
wouldn't be able to find it.
It's look, the way I find International Condom Day is it's a little bit uncomfortable. It never feels natural to me. And
it always breaks.
It always breaks at the last minute. It's always been a very awkward day for me. It's really difficult to get into the day, and then fucking hell, I'm like a child. But yeah, you tell me from your perspective of a younger person of the younger generation. So yeah, you were saying in school everybody was looking forward to International Women, although feminist women were looking forward to it. What happened?
They were. Nah, there was nothing like that. No one ever protested in my school. Nothing as drastic as that. I mean, what happened was, it was a maths, and this person was just like talking about the inequalities women face, and it was just like, oh, you will never be paid less than a man. And I was just like, fucking, I'm gonna change her name. Fucking Mary. That doesn't happen, Mary. It's just like, oh, what would you know? You're a man. It's just like, well, just think about it. The wage gap is the averages of the average earnings of everyone. It has nothing to do with the individual jobs. She was like, yeah, well, the wage gap affects my mum today. And I was just like, okay, what job does she have? And she says, she's the CEO in a company. And I'm just laughing my head off because you have no male counterparts if you're a CEO in a company. It's just like, what?
You own the company.
It's just like you're the highest.
You're the highest earner in the company.
Yeah.
How can she be affected by the wage gap?
I've got no clue. In fact, she would be. I know. It'd just be like.
She pays herself. Is she changing herself because she's a woman?
I think what this girl misheard her is all like. I think she thinks that CEOs in all businesses all earn the same. So when she looks at like the CEO of fucking Apple, like fucking what's his name, Tim Cook, and like looks at her mum, and she just goes, wage gap. It's just like, shut up.
Yeah, the reason your mum isn't earning as much as Tim Cook or Bill Gates is because of the patriarchy. Nothing to do with those companies being worth billions of dollars. No.
So I start laughing, but the teacher starts hushing. Okay, so just saying the story ain't over yet. It continues. She's all like, patriarchy, and then the maths teacher silences us. And so I get back to my work, and what I do is I whip out the same phone I'm calling you on, and I look up on Google Images the word bollocks, and then what I do, because I haven't actually responded to her verbally apart from laugh at her, and then what happens is then I go, hey, Mary, and she looks up, like the whole room's quiet, and then I just show, I like lift up my phone, and all you can see is the word bollocks. Half the class sees it, and I'm just sitting there like fucking lolling. And then this other girl stands up, and she's Australian. She's all like, "All right, you can't say that. You don't have any fucking friends, you fucking moron." It was just like laughing my head off. It was great. The argument was won by "you have no friends, therefore your point is invalid."
Yes.
It was insane.
because that's how all
Of
the
course,
arguments
my
are won.
popularity determines. This is like, yes, my popularity determines whether or not my point is valid or not.
Actually, that is a good segue into a subject which we can maybe touch on, but not delve into too much at the moment because we have other things to get on with. But this concept, which has actually come up in a few other videos. I was watching another video where a YouTuber was actually pointing out to a feminist type YouTuber about the fact that he has I forgot the names now. I don't know. Maybe it was Mr. Logic or one of these other sort of YouTubers that was pointing out that he has a larger subscription base, and so his message, if you like, carries further than a feminist. Actually, it was Bearing. He did a recent YouTube on it. That's what it was. Bearing did a recent YouTube on a guy who was
yeah,
saying,
it was on the
fat.
it was on the just like this mainstream news thing. It was just like, oh yeah, my thing has more reach than you.
Well, no, yeah, it was it's called the fallacy of ad populum, where just because you got more
Yeah.
people listening to or agreeing with your particular point, that doesn't mean you are actually correct, which is true. It is true that if that's your only appeal is that, oh well, I've got more people than you do, I've got more subs than you do, that means I'm right. No, that is a fallacy of ad populum. But the thing Bearing was saying was that wasn't what the person was saying anyway. That wasn't the argument. That was just simply saying that we are clearly showing, or at least his point is clearly showing to be the correct one, or at least the most obvious, the better argument, if you like, out of the two, is because of the fact that more people are
I mean,
siding and more people are agreeing with that, and I think this
yeah,
goes
that would
into
mean
this.
it's much more reliable, but that wouldn't mean that it's actually true. I
No,
mean, like
no,
it would be like the billions and billions of followers who follow Christianity
exactly,
versus I don't know
exactly,
the subscribers of
Buddhism.
Thunderfoot.
Or yeah, exactly, or subscribers. Not only that, I can even go back to another very obvious argument. When people thought the world was flat, there was a time when people thought the world was flat, that you're gonna, swim off the edge of the world.
And people
Clearly,
still do.
there are
And
some.
I've
There
met
are
them, and they're
flat
fucking
earthers.
nuts.
Yes, yes, there are flat
Oh God.
earthers, but they were clearly on the wrong side of this argument. Even though there was a time where the
I guess you
majority.
could say they're on the wrong side of the coin because that's what kind of the shape they kind of think it is.
Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, uh, they were clearly wrong. It doesn't matter if the majority believed it or not.
Mm.
They were wrong, and that's not what was the prevailing. That's
That's
not
not
what
K.
exactly. That didn't win out. That argument ultimately lost because
Mm.
it was very much incorrect. Even if today
Yeah,
we have a
and
few fringes which believe in it, that doesn't mean that argument holds any kind of water. That argument is dead and buried. Same as the heliocentric argument versus the geocentric argument, and that is that the world
yeah.
goes around the sun versus the sun going around the earth. Um, yeah, that
Mm.
argument is if you believe that the sun goes around the earth, you're on the losing side of that argument. The Christian Church, for crying out
Mm.
loud, was on the losing side of that argument, and they lost, and they had
Yeah,
to
and people like
concede.
what's his name?
Galileo,
Galileo, I think it
yeah,
was. Yeah.
yeah, Galileo Galilei. He was actually extradited from the Catholic Church for suggesting this,
Mm.
uh, and he was punished
And
for it. He
speaking
was
of unpopular
tortured.
opinions,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Speaking of unpopular opinions, I guess we could segue into another topic.
Yeah, yeah. Which
It's a
one?
good diversion. Brexit,
Aha.
like an unpopular opinion, like a
Yes.
like the mainstream as like an unpopular opinion,
Yeah.
but then like in general, it's like it's a good idea, effectively.
Well, I think the case is. You see, the problem is the people who make the case or who make the argument against Brexit uh, seem to, at
Mm.
least the popular arguments, seem to always revolve around you're an idiot, you're a racist, you're a xenophobe, and you just don't like Europeans, or you don't want to be part of Europe because you just don't like, people out, I don't know, people from abroad or whatever, or you think that the foreigners are coming to take your job. So these are the most fallacious, most simplistic and idiotic arguments, and they are extremely patronizing to people who have actually sat down and looked at what the European Union is. I say this, I've been saying this to my friends for years. I would have voted for Brexit in 2014 when I discovered what the European Parliament was all about. All you have to do is sit down and just Google what the European Parliament is, how it came about, and what it does. And that would be the death nail in wanting to be part of Europe. Because the European Union is fine. To have a trade union and a trade agreement and actually get along with other European countries and have, even to an extent, open borders to some limits, based on how, you still have to have sovereignty of your own borders. You can't relinquish that to someone else, because you get people like Merkel who will violate their border agreements, and they allow hundreds and millions of refugees to come into their country, and they know that those refugees are going to make a beeline for my country that I live in. And I don't necessarily want them in. If it was up to me, I wouldn't let them in Germany. So why should I take the burden of Germany's decision when I know that they're making a beeline for us? So this is ridiculous to have those kind of, like, I have, just because I want to agree to sell rice and trade with rice and, I don't know, grain with you, I have to somehow now let in all your mistakes as well, and make your mistakes my mistakes. And I have to be punished for your decisions that you make for your country. No, that's not something I agree to. But the other thing is, the European Parliament itself is a deeply, deeply corrupted system, and it is an unelected system. It's not a system. Although we get to, sort of elect our Euro MPs, EMPs, but that's all bollocks. That's mostly just smoke and mirrors. The people at the top are not elected. They are appointed. And this is a deeply undemocratic system. And my fear, and this is Sargon, I mean, I'll be honest, for my reference, I would point you to Sargon of Akkad. If you've ever watched his arguments against for Brexit.
Oh, dude, I fucking love Sargon. He's my fucking jam, dude.
Yeah, Sargon of Akkad, in all honesty, has made
he's what actually got me into, like, but like anti-feminism and the I guess the right wing. I mean, I know he's left wing, and you'd say, I am not right wing. Fuck off.
No, I'm not right wing. Like, I am left wing. I consider myself a traditional libertarian left wing.
I consider myself kind of the new age right wing, but that's just because, statistically we're like that or something. I don't know. InfoWars did a do on it.
I mean, there is.
And basically,
I
remember.
Sorry, go
on. I remember. There's this guy who came over. And I was just like watching. I watched like a few cringe, rec feminist videos, like one or two, not like. Not as much as I am now. And basically he showed me, he was just like, okay, look up Sargon of Akkad. And I was just like, I don't even know how to fucking spell it. You fucking Oxford motherfucker. I'm not even joking. This guy went to Oxford University and did engineering. And I think he works in, not Oxford, sorry, Cambridge. I think he's in, I don't know. I think he might be in like MIT. I can't tell. He's probably still there. Oh no, I think he's doing his last year there. Anyway, he's a very extraordinarily clever chap.
Yeah.
The kind of guy who you will never win in chess. And basically, he got me. He was just like, okay, watch Sargon of Akkad's videos, and I was just like, great. And he basically set up kind of what I generally feel about Brexit. But my take on Brexit was that I saw a lot of good arguments on both sides, and I was very, very neutral on it. Apart from like the news and a lot of the leftist media and just general people saying, you're racist, you're this. I mean, they did have some, I guess, good points. They were saying all like trade, whatnot. this, that, and all that. And then like there were people on the other side who were all like, yeah, but it doesn't actually work like this.